Good afternoon, and welcome to our seventh lunchtime conversation. It's all part of our 55 and Better Virtual Expo, brought to you by the Loveland Reporter Herald and the Greeley Tribune. My name is Al Manzi. I'm President and CEO for Prairie Mountain Media and publisher for both newspapers. Today's session is a panel discussion entitled How to Maintain and Restore Mobility and Freedom in Your Life. Sounds very interesting. At the completion of the session, I will host a question and answer period. So please feel free to enter into the chat or Q&A portion of your device, any questions that you might have at any time during the presentation. I'm joined today by Lyndsey Burmeister with Community Education Accessible Systems, and Michelle McMahon, President and CEO, Frontier Access and Mobility. So please join me in welcoming our two presenters.
Thank you, Al. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Talking like Al just said about trying to maintain access to your house and really make it a great spot to exist in and live in and maintain your freedom in. So there's no place like home, truly. And I think Michelle and Polly and their team, we've had a heck of a year, haven't we? Trying to keep everyone safe. Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen here. Michelle and I put together a presentation, and then we're going to kind of bounce around, I think, a little bit back and forth to see if we can cover everything that we do. Does that sound okay?
Fantastic.
Perfect. So these are, at least I always joke, this is what I look like when I do my hair and makeup. But yeah, so maintaining and restoring mobility and freedom. So Michelle is from Frontier Access and Mobility. Michelle, do you want to say a few things about your two locations?
Well, thank you, Lyndsey. Good afternoon, everyone. So Frontier Access and Mobility is located in Fort Collins, Colorado, as well as Cheyenne, Wyoming. We are a 100% woman-owned business that's been around for 25 years. And I appreciate the younger looking photo that you used. A little bit more hair.
I love it. And I've been on the Accessible Systems team up in Greeley. That's where our showroom is located for the last 3 years. And we've been serving Colorado, the whole state, and Wyoming since 1999. So the cool thing about being able to co-present with Frontier is that, I'm going to slide ahead here real quick, is that collectively, we both provide equipment. So that stands for Accessible Systems and Frontier Mobility. So we both provide all these pieces of equipment. And then Accessible Systems kind of branches off. We do a lot of construction-based modifications. So if somebody needs modifications to their bathroom, grab bars installed, anything I say that we're swinging a hammer, we can do. But we don't touch the vehicle modifications. And that's where Frontier excels and specializes. So as we go through, I think we share many of the same goals in terms of, you've met one person with a disability or, an aging condition, you've met one person, right? So when we go out to someone's home, we're looking for individualized solutions and keeping them safe at home wherever they call home. So sometimes, we will put in some grab bars or safety poles in a senior living community because they just don't have it in place for their specific needs. And then, of course, we're providing the knowledge and expertise on the right equipment, especially when you go to Frontier. Michelle and her team have the most amazing showroom because they have, if you sit in one wheelchair and it's not right, they've got a different suggestion. If they sit in one chair and it's not right, we've got some other solution. So when we, look at helping our clients, it really is a team effort. And so if somebody's coming home from the hospital or the rehab, we work with the therapists on that team. If someone has home health care professionals or just caregivers, family, everybody's involved in finding out the right solution.
Absolutely.
So as we go through, Michelle, I think what we'll do is touch on the equipment together. I'll dive into the home mods, and then you can tell us all about the vehicle accessibility as well. Does that sound okay?
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Of course. So again, here's the screen. I always describe equipment as anything that we have in stock that we're going to be bringing here installing. We are lucky enough to both of us carry Bruno brand stair lifts and vertical platform lifts. They are the top of the line. They're American made. The VA trusts both of us to install them, and they are just an awesome company. Best warranty, best quality. So we both install those. And then ramps through easy access, which we'll touch on a little bit. And then there's lift and transfer systems that might be a solution for some people as well. So when we come out, our team provides complimentary home evaluations. I believe Frontier does as well.
Absolutely.
Yep. And so we're working, especially in Colorado homes, where, you know, many of our mountainous areas are built up, you know, on hills, or maybe the backyard is higher up than the front yard entrance. We're looking at the entrance and exits, levels and stairs, how people are accessing bathrooms, and how their transfers are happening. And transfers, I think, are a big point too, and what kind of mobility equipment you have in the house. And Michelle will discuss that in detail as well. So the therapists that we work with most often call us on this situation, right? No matter if someone has bought a ranch, or they've had their doorways already widened, they have everything one level living, most homes in Colorado are up a step or two. And so this right here, you know, it shows that steps are concrete, not great, floor is concrete, and there's no railings or grab bars. So I'm gonna fly through some solutions that address this area of the home. One, you can put in angled PT rails. As you can see, they're mounted into the wall. This is something that we have in stock that's ready to be installed. They hold about 400 pounds, maybe 410. And we can also, we'll show you later, put these in the bathroom as well, next to the toilet, that go straight out instead of this angled. Accessible Systems works with a welder that can custom do steel railings. But if somebody's coming home from and we can put in a grab bar solution, as opposed to waiting, you know, 2 to 4 weeks for a custom railing, we'll do that. And then Michelle, do you guys do these platform steps and easy steps?
No, we don't.
All right. I know Easy Access, which is the company we'll work for through our ramps, provides some solutions, but our carpenter just builds these. So if a client can still do steps and they don't have the room for a ramp, or they really still want to do steps, we just build these out as just a longer staircase. So as you can see, it's a shorter step up, but a deeper tread. And in some cases, a client can stand there and put their walker up on the step ahead of them and step up then, and the walker up ahead and step up. So this is a really good solution. And of course, there's ramps. Michelle, do you want to talk at all about the ramps that we carry?
So most of the ramps that we do are going to be your modular metal aluminum ramps. They're going to have the proper slope and grade for your application. So it's usually for every inch of rise, you have a foot of run. So this is a great picture because it's showing a garage where they just don't have enough room just to go straight out. So it's coming to a landing to make that turn, and then down to the garage floor. So this particular ramp is good for a manual wheelchair because it has the proper slope. It has a double handrail system so that the ambulatory person has the ability to use the upper rail, and the lower rail would assist someone in a wheelchair.
Yeah. And while we can install these at the front entrances or the rear entrances, and we look at them all over the place, I think all of our teams encourage people to put ramps inside the garage.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. One, because it keeps it out of the elements, even though our Colorado sunshine does a great job of clearing off snow and melting it real quick, especially on this bright, shiny surface. Once my client could come down here and deposit, I could get them right into the car very easily and outside of the elements. So just some things to keep in mind. All right. As Michelle mentioned, when you have that calculation of rise over run, when we look at a situation like this where we have one 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. An average step is 7 inches high. If we're following the exact recommendations of ADA, this would require a 35-foot ramp, plus the switchbacks that we discussed in this one right here. So we might choose to put in a Bruno brand stair lift here. And I have better pictures of stair lifts coming up, but just know that this is an option. Now, if somebody can't transfer in and out of a manual wheelchair or a walker and be able to get on the seat, take a ride up, and get into the house, we might recommend what's called a vertical platform lift, or a VPL. Michelle, do you want to touch on these VPLs?
Thank you, Lyndsey. So the vertical platform lifts that you see in these pictures here, they have the ramp. So you just roll right into the unit, and then there's going to be an inside a call button to take the unit up to the doorway. It looks like this picture may also have a power door so that the door will open when it hits that upper strike. That's a nice feature to have. So you can get them with or without the power operated doors. It also has the handrail inside the car, so someone standing can hold on. It's a very, very smooth, soft ride. When it's in the upper position, the ramp folds up so that there's no chance of you rolling off of your platform in that upper position. It also has safety switches at the bottom. So if the cat likes to sleep underneath there, when it's coming down, and if it senses anything underneath there, it won't squish the cat.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I've got animals that like to get in the craziest places.
Yeah. Children too. And one thing that you'll notice is, as Michelle pointed out, this one goes directly from the platform right to the door, so the user can come in and roll right off. Oftentimes what we'll do is we'll build a deck or even just a few stairs with another platform. So everyone that's accessing the house doesn't need to get in, push the buttons, take up the lift, and they can still utilize the steps. Just an option to build on there.
Yeah, that's a nice. The other thing about those that they are, they do just plug in to a one standard plug-in, as well as they have a battery operated feature in the event of a power outage.
That is an awesome point. Yep. That's one of the #1 questions we get, especially in the summer months when we've got these weird storms rolling through.
Right.
So this is a perfect illustration of when you have more than 4 steps. Let's look at either a stair lift or a vertical platform lift. This garage is huge, but as you can see, the average step again is 7 inches of rise, and 4 steps. This is much more than 4 steps, but 4 steps is 28 inches of rise. And so even if you have a completely level ground, that's asking for 28 feet of ramp, this turnaround. So it's just a good illustration. I think the steepest, if the VA or Medicaid is going to be paying for a ramp installation, we must stick to that 1 inch of rise for 1 foot of run. If we're installing for private pay customers, you and me, we're just putting a ramp in the house. The steepest our team typically will do is for every 2 inches of rise, we'll put a foot of run. And at our showroom in Greeley, we have 2 ramps, one shorter 4 foot, one longer 8 foot on display. So someone can take their power chair or their wheelchair and either self-propel or have a caregiver bring them up just to see if they feel comfortable with how steep that is. We'll also pour concrete ramps. You don't see a big significant difference in these two, except fabulous landscaping, but it blends right in. And so if the HOA is giving someone heck for trying to put in a ramp, we might look at a concrete ramp as an option. And then, even in a house that has just a small sunken living room or space, this is 2 steps here, we can utilize a portable ramp, but a lot of people want something that looks like it belongs in their house and it's stained to match, so we can do that as well. Here's one of those portable ramps. Michelle, you guys carry these, right?
We do.
Yeah, you want to talk about these? I don't want to dominate.
You're doing a fine job, Lyndsey. But yeah, portable ramps definitely have, they have their place for home access. You just need to be really careful that you're not getting too steep with them. So if you have a couple of steps, an 8-foot might be a really good option. If it's a short-term use, that would certainly help out.
Yeah.
These are not something you want to try to pick, fold up, and carry around. They're 65 pounds. So I would recommend this for short term. If you need these for a longer term and it's working out well, you'll want to make sure that they get anchored down so that they stay in place. So when you're shoveling off the snow, they're not slipping around. It does have a non-skid on there, so it works well for the manual wheelchair and the caretaker that's pushing the chair up the ramp. So just be real careful with the angle, the slope, so that it's safe.
Yeah, we've seen some nightmares on these. So, yep, they do have a small curbing, but you'll notice obviously no side handrails. We get calls for these a lot when someone is coming home and they're going to be non-weight bearing for a few weeks and then they expect to be back to their full potential. Around the holidays, you know, when someone says, I really want to bring dad into my house for Thanksgiving dinner and he can't get over my 2 steps, what do you have? And instead of putting a larger, you know, aluminum system in like this, even if it's just one section of ramp, this is a really good option. And then once you get to the front door, or you're within a house that maybe has been remodeled and there's been levels of floor stacked on top of each other for a bathroom, you might have a little bit of a lip on the threshold. And so these come in a variety of lengths, sizes, steepness. This is a metal one. This is a rubber one. If you've taken your kids or grandkids to a park recently, they've done away with a lot of the mulch and there's that compressed rubberized foam. That's what this is, so it can withstand the weight of a power chair. So just some options. And again, you know, we've got time for questions. All of our information will be here at the end of the presentation. If you have specific questions about your home, this is just the goal, is just to provide a quick snapshot of all the options that are available. Because a lot of things we don't know about until we need them. And we were joking before the presentation that most people don't want to talk about home accessibility until they have to, right? So if there's something that we're not covering in great detail, of course, save the questions, but for the end when we take those, but we'll move on to levels and stairs. This is a really cute story. The gentleman that called us said that he'd been hearing his grandkids and family have a really good time in the lower level, but he hadn't been able to participate in anything with them in the last few years. So even though this isn't a super narrow staircase, but you'll notice that this handrail does come in and protrudes a little bit, but there's lack of a railing on both sides. If someone can do stairs and they can kind of do the stairway shuffle, we might be able to just build them, you know, another handrail. But more than anything, they would benefit from a stair lift here. So again, here's that installed stair lift. Bruno installs the stair lift to be very close to the wall. So the track is only located 5 inches from the wall, which is one of the closest in the industry. And when I joined the team 3 years ago, I thought, why would someone put a stair lift in? You're damaging your walls. And then I was quickly schooled on, no, the lift does not touch the walls, and you'll see it's connected to the stair treads instead of anywhere on the wall. So all we need is a regular outlet either at the top or the bottom of the stairs. And this railing goes in, and then you could see in a few other pictures that everything on this chair, the footrest, the seat, and the arms all fold up when the chair is not in use. So you really are able to increase your safety, your freedom, your accessibility. This seat, when it comes up, swivels 90 degrees. So you're not trying to like climb onto the chair at the top of the steps. If somebody doesn't have this perfect straight shot, we can install a curved lift. So the reason why it's called curved is this track, this rail is absolutely perfectly designed for this home, and it takes on any form of crazy stairs that people might have. So Michelle, anything to share about the curved lift?
So a lot of times we're installing the curve lift in a home where a lot of people within the home are using it. So on the chair itself is a switch that makes the chair go up and down the rail, but it also has upper and lower call sends. There's one on the stair, sitting on the stairs. So if you have multiple people within your home utilizing the stair chair, if it's in the down position and they're upstairs, they can call it up to them, and vice versa. You can notice it's folded up nicely. So the foot platform and the seat and the arms fold up. The foot platform on the Bruno models has a safety sensor. So if you're going up the stairs and you make contact with something on the stairs, the unit will stop until you can get the obstacle taken care of. Then also remember, these are all battery operated, which is the charger is charging the batteries at all times. So you're never going to be without your Bruno straight staircase or curved staircase in a power outage, or just loss of power if we have a heavy spring snow.
That's perfect.
And the batteries need to be changed out about once every 2 years. So you always have a good fresh set of batteries.
Yeah. And the cool thing about these chairs is there's a variety of different options. So this one is the Elan, and it holds up to 300 pounds. Mm-hmm. The Elite is just a little bit bigger seat, a little cushier, hold up to 400 pounds. If you want something to be curved, you have to use this Elite model. And these can go inside or outside. So I don't think I have the picture of the boat dock that Bruno uses. I don't. But yeah, you can put them outside. They come with a cover if you want to, but it's a nice option. Now, a lot of times when we're assessing a home, someone will say a stair lift won't work because it's going to block a hallway, it's going to block a doorway, an entryway. And so, of course, Bruno came up with a solution, and they have a folding rail, which is exactly what it sounds like. You can either have a power option where you hit a button and it folds up on its own, or a manual where you run the chair up and then you fold it up and out of the way. But it just allows people, especially in basements, when this might be the bottom of a basement step and you have a narrow hallway, you got to make sure that everybody's safe and can get by there. All right, incline platform lift is similar to a vertical platform lift. I kind of call it a stair lift for wheelchairs. So especially if somebody's in a wheelchair and they have double levels of their home and they spend the majority of their time in a wheelchair, most of our clients don't have a wheelchair downstairs, a wheelchair upstairs, and the ability to transfer themselves from the wheelchair onto the stair lift and then go up and transfer off the stair lift onto another wheelchair. So this incline platform lift runs very similar to a stair lift and just brings the user and their wheelchair up. And these don't work in every home. You got to have you have to have straight shot at it. You got to have plenty of room at the bottom. You have to have a lot of room for clearance. So, assess it as needed. You might have seen these in more of a restaurant or a business setting as well. Yeah. All right. Bathrooms. I'm going to fly through this because I can get in the weeds on this. I'll say this. Most bathrooms are not accessible. And so, so you might need a few pieces of equipment installed, and that can be as simple as grab bars. Awesome. They can work wonders. Please, for your sake, don't use suction cup grab bars. Way too many horror stories of these loosening, and when people fall, you're holding on to something, so you can't even brace yourself. So we've seen a lot of broken elbows, broken wrists. You can do everything from simple solutions to full-on changing things up. So I'd say, I think Mike, my boss, told me about 65 to 70% of falls happen in the bathroom. And the hardest part is if you're being told to use an assistive device, a cane, a walker, help from a caregiver, this space is so tight to do all of that in. So most people leave their assistive device outside, they go through their narrow door, and disaster can strike here. So in this case, you've got a pretty low toilet. This is not a comfort height of 17.5 inches. That's a higher ADA size. You've got a high tub wall. Again, that bathroom and no grab bars. You also don't have the ability in this room to add any grab bars next to the toilet because you can't connect them to the vanity and you can't connect them to the shower. So we'll talk about a few solutions there. So believe it or not, this bathroom is the same as this bathroom, which is pretty cool. So we removed the tub and we demolished, we took down all that tile and we created a true barrier-free, some people call it a European style shower. And we worked with this person's occupational therapist to make sure we put the grab bars in the appropriate levels. We got a different toilet in here that is a 17.5-inch comfort height, and then a handheld shower. So if that person wants to move this up here and act like it's a regular shower, great. But if a caregiver or that person wants to sit down in the shower and use this handheld, it's a huge thing. And again, you've got room for caregivers, somebody to help get someone settled. PT rails.
Mind going back to that other picture?
This one right here?
No, the European wet room.
Mm-hmm.
This is absolutely beautiful. And the other thing that we're gaining, because you didn't move any walls, you just took out that tub and put in that flat floor. So there's no thresholds. And so now you've gained even more floor space within your bathroom for maneuvering that manual chair or that power chair. So if you're transferring to the toilet, you could actually use some of that square footage within that shower floor to make things a little bit easier. So nice job on that. Nice job. And then your curtain is going to be your water barrier when you're in the shower. And I actually have this European wet room in my private residence on the main floor, planning to retire in my home and live there until I decide to go to heaven. So.
Well said. Well said. Well, thanks for that. Yeah. And if somebody is not in need of a full remodel or they need some grab bars next to the toilet, again, here come those PT rails, right? That they fold up and down, but they allow somebody to be able to push off right there. We've all seen toilet risers with or without rails on the side. And this is part of the free home evaluation to just see, you know, what particularly do you need? And then maybe what are some weaknesses? If you can't hold your arm higher than your shoulder, certain solutions aren't going to work. So we can assess on that. Here's just another side-by-side from the front that you can see, you know, before and after. And then when somebody, I'm going to go to this one right here. When somebody does need a door widening, there may be a quick and easy, simple solution to put these swing clear hinges, or they're called offset hinges. If a lot of people, and I'm sure, Michelle, you guys see this every day, they come in and they call in and they say, hey, I just ordered an XYZ wheelchair. What's my width on it? And they want to make sure it's going to go through their doors. But in error, they measure between door jams right here. And then they get it home and it won't fit. Thin wheelchair. So what we forget is when we swing the door open, the hollow part of the door, the actual door, protrudes into the door jamb. And so these swing clear hinges allow it to swing fully to the door jamb's width and restores about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. If that doesn't work, we're full on taking out a doorway, widening it, putting in a new door. That's an option. Or putting in a door where there wasn't one. So if this bathroom, which was all open, the gentleman who liked to take more therapeutic showers and steam showers, all the steam flew right out of there. And so what we did is we added a header and added a barn door. So those, thanks to HGTV, people are loving barn doors nowadays. I think this is one of the last solutions, very similar to lift recliners that Michelle will talk about. That inner mechanism looks very similar to this, where you put this on a toilet and it actually, you push a button and it lifts somebody into a standing position. If standing off of a toilet is difficult, instead of using a gate belt and pulling someone where injuries can happen, this just eases them off the toilet. And then if a full remodel can't happen or a solution is needed faster than when our team can go out there and provide a construction-based solution, This is a really cool thing. It's called a Bella Vita bath lift. It holds 300 pounds, and you can see it lowers into the tub where these wings that helped you transfer onto the bench, they fold up, and it lowers down about 2 inches to the bottom of the tub, and it reclines to just ease somebody into an existing tub. And quickly, these ship in 7 days. Quick solution. All right. The last thing, I'm just going to say, hey, these exist, because they're not for everybody. A lot of our veterans end up needing a ceiling mounted lift. So if you have a degenerative neurological condition or loss of movement and you want to stay at home, really either of our teams can do so much to help you out. And so in this case, most people haven't seen this type of an application in a private home. They've seen it in a hospital. But what this does, it allows somebody to be lifted up and transfer from room to room, or even point A to point B within one single room, and saving that caregiver's back, saving the person who's needing the care some sanity, giving back freedom. So again, these exist, but for sake of time, we're not going to touch on them like crazy. All right, I'm not going to touch on that. Funding resources, most people wonder how to pay. I'll keep this screen up as Michelle talks about vehicle mods and other equipment, if that works.
Well, thank you, Lyndsey.
Thanks, Michelle.
Excellent job on the PowerPoint. So in addition to the home accessibility, Frontier Access provides auto access. So what exactly is auto access? A lot of times clients come to us and they may be able to get in and out of their vehicle, but their feet don't work real well to push the gas and the brakes safely. So with a driving evaluation, which here in Northern Colorado, we actually have a wonderful driving evaluation therapist. She will come out and evaluate you for hand controls. Basically, hand controls operate the gas and the pedal. You use your hands to do that. So, and then you just transfer yourself in and out of the vehicle. If you're using a manual wheelchair or a power wheelchair and you want to be able to transport your equipment, we offer lifts that will go in the back of vehicles and pick up your mobility and put it in the back of the vehicle, and then you would walk to the front of your vehicle and get in and drive away. But if you are using that manual wheelchair or that power wheelchair 100% of the time, then that's where an accessible vehicle that has a structural modification would come into play. So what that structural modification does is it lowers the floor 10, 11, 12 to 14 inches. So it gives you a higher opening height. So a ramp can come out of the floor of the vehicle or fold out from the vehicle. So you can stay in your equipment and drive into the vehicle. Once you're in the vehicle, you can anchor down the chair using either straps or a electronic locking system where we attach a pin to your vehicle or to your chair, underneath your chair, and you simply roll over a plate on the floor and that anchors the chair to the floor. And then you want to use the factory seat belts to secure yourself. So keep in mind that when we're riding around in our automobile, our seat is anchored to the floor of the vehicle, and then we use our lap and shoulder belt. So same concept for a manual or power wheelchair. I do need to mention that some of the lower end, what we call consumer power wheelchairs or scooters are really not, they're not designed to be safely ridden in a moving vehicle. You can still strap them to the floor, and then you would want to transfer either into that back seat or obtain a power base that would allow the seats to slide back and swivel, so you could transfer either into that driver's position or that passenger's position. We sell vehicles that are all power, meaning that through the key fob, you push the key fob, the door The doors unlock, the doors slide open, the vehicle kneels down, and the ramp either folds out from the vehicle or slides out from the floor. The chassis that are available are your Honda Odysseys, your Pacificas from Chrysler, and then your Toyota Sienna. And this year, for the first time, our converters have been able to convert the all-wheel drive Honda hybrid. So that's exciting that we're going to be getting all-wheel drive vehicles, because all of your current minivans are all going to be front wheel. So the all-wheel drives are going to be out real soon. We also you can have a manual conversion, so that'll save a little bit of prices on the vehicle conversion side. Manual conversion just is a manually operated door with a pull-out ramp from the floor. Super simple to operate by just manually opening the door and pulling out the ramp. And we also rent these vehicles. If you need a short term, a day, a week, a month, we have rentals available in Northern Colorado. So you don't need to go to Denver for that service.
Perfect. Anything else to share? I tend to fly.
Well, I apologize. I was on vacation last week, so I didn't get a PowerPoint done, but you've done a phenomenal one.
Oh, so was I. I was in a panic, Polly, I'll tell you.
Well, you're pretty impressive, young lady. So, I think the other thing that Frontier offers a little bit differently is we are complex manual and power wheelchair providers. So what is a complex piece of equipment? The complex chair is designed for that neurological diagnosis, your Parkinson's, your spinal cord injuries, your cerebral palsy, your MS. And those clients, we work with their therapists and their physicians to really fine tune that manual wheelchair or that power wheelchair to fit their needs. And the biggest takeaway people always think is, I'll get a narrow chair so it'll go through that bathroom door, but you really need to build the chair to fit the person. And rule of thumb in our industry is you need to take the person's seat width for that manual wheelchair and add 8 inches. So if I'm in an 18-inch wheelchair and I add 18 inches on top of that, my manual wheelchair now is 26 inches wide. And there's really nothing that can be done to make that chair narrower to get through that door, because you still have to have room for your hands. So that's where making those doors wider for that bathroom or that bedroom, putting in those barn doors, that really, really improves your mobility. Plus you're not injuring your hands as you're trying to push through that door, right? So, so we really stress chairs that fit people, especially if you're going to be sitting in these chairs for longer periods of time. Pressure reducing cushions, air cushions. So when you come to Frontier Access, we're going to kind of give you a little bit more information on the wheelchair seating and positioning, and then the types of wheelchair frames, power wheelchairs that are available out there in the market. And then we can coordinate with your physician and your therapist to get you that well-fitting wheelchair. And in addition to that, we also perform the repairs on the chairs. Chairs need, maintenance, just like any other type of product that you use on a daily basis. So I think that's pretty much what we do.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen here really quick again, and just where you can see, come on, Lindsey, our 2 addresses and contact information. I didn't have an updated picture of the outside of your office, but I think everyone who watches this will know where you're at, because you're at the corner of Mulberry and Riverside, right?
Correct. We are the old advanced interiors carpet store.
I drive by that multiple times a week. Yeah. So if nothing else, I'd say really, truly, you've got so many resources in the area, younger, older, you know, if you need vehicle modification, if you need home health care, Michelle's team, our team, we know the people in the business and we're happy to help you out in whatever ways we can. So I think that wraps it up, Al.
I'll tell you what, I've learned more in this short presentation about my mom. My mom's 91, and you know she's very mobile. But it was fascinating to see all the different types of equipment that and technologies that have really moved forward dramatically to make it easier for people to be in their homes and to be more mobile. You guys are a great team. I could tell why you've been in the business a long time, because your style is very inviting and your knowledge level is second to none. And so I would say the thing that you know many people on this call would be interested in, and Lyndsey, you just touched on it, is you know, what is the pricing like? What is the insurance coverage like? How do you get approved for these various types of equipment? So maybe you could spend a little bit of time on that together or separately, or however you want to do it.
Absolutely.
So the number one thing when someone is walking into our store, I'd say 97% of the products that Accessible Systems carries are not covered by Medicare. Okay, so Michelle's team, I believe you guys will bill Medicare, correct?
Yes, so Medicare covers your mobility within your home. And that's your walkers, your wheelchairs, and your power wheelchairs. Unfortunately, Medicare does not cover bathroom equipment, grab bars, toileting items, vehicle lifts. It's just, they're all
So bathroom modifications like the shower you showed, things like that, that would all be something you have to either use a home equity line for or pay cash.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few exceptions. So if someone is on Medicaid, I wish they'd give them two names that didn't sound almost exactly alike.
They do.
Right.
So if someone does have limited income and they're on the elderly, blind, and disabled waiver, EBD waiver, and there are a few others, and they can qualify for the home modification benefit, they have $14,000, a pot of money that needs to last their entire lifetime. And so mostly that will cover access to the front of their home and a bathroom renovation. Mm-hmm. It might cover access to the front of their home and a stair lift inside. And they don't have to spend it all at once. And so if you're on Medicaid, you know you're on Medicaid, call your case manager and ask about the home modification waiver.
Do you work with financing companies so that you can offer financing?
You know, I think we're both small companies. We've tried to finance and gotten burned. I believe you guys offer financing.
Yes, so we offer care credit and yeah, and there's some other financing options available. What I usually recommend is if you're a homeowner, you're going to be able to borrow money against your home at the best value. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that we kind of forget is we have the largest population of people moving into that retirement age. And as we're all aging, because that's what we do every day, we get older. The investment we make into our home, that's an investment. A lot of realtors call and they say, oh, this equipment's just got to be removed. And it's like, no, it's an investment. And people, I think, are forward thinking because we all know how expensive assisted living facilities, $6,000 a month just to move into a one bedroom with a little studio apartment, that's crazy. If you can take and put that investment into your home, you're going to be happier and you're in your home. So it's truly an investment into your home. And when the day comes and you need to sell that home, I think you're going to be really surprised just how many people are really looking for that barrier-free. When my mom lived in Colorado Springs, she was getting a little older and she showered. And I said, Mom, this is ridiculous that you're jumping over this 21-inch high tub wall to take a shower. So we pulled that out of there and we put in one of those European wet rooms. They're absolutely gorgeous. And when her house went on the market, of course, you know, in Colorado Springs, she had 27 showings, but but not one person had anything negative to say about that bathroom. In fact, the lady that bought it said, I love this house because the bathroom, the shower is accessible. And it doesn't look handicapped. It looks like you know, a spa, basically. And then I put one in my own home, and people are constantly complimenting me on how pretty it all works. And now my 80-year-old mother lives with me. So her bathroom is accessible and I don't have to worry about her in the bathroom. So we need to change that mindset. It's not for the handicap. It's basically universal design. And so I loved your concrete ramp into your home. You know, how easy would that be if we all had a concrete ramp to get that new refrigerator in our home or move furniture? You know, that's where we need to go is more universal design. So, you know, put the investment in your home so you can stay in the home that you love, and just put that investment there. You'll really.
That's a great point. I know we took that shower out for my mom and put in a walk-in shower, and she loves it so much more.
Right.
It's so much more comfortable. So can you guys talk about, and do you have any supply chain issues in your industry, or you were able to get your hands on all the equipment that you need to do all of these projects with?
Yeah, right now we're facing, you know, it's down to the ridiculous. Bruno has a chip, like a computer chip that runs the control board that goes into the motor. There's no replacement. And so right now we're finally seeing a little bit of a delay of a week with Bruno stair lifts. I imagine you guys keep a ton in stock. We do too. So we're staying ahead of it as we can. Construction though, I'm glad you asked, because yeah, construction is supply chain issues, cost issues. And so we're currently booked out several months. And so what we're doing is really going forward with those solutions at the end, right? How can we modify your bathroom and keep it safe now? And then when we have time to come in and do the construction. And Al, you did ask a question that I wanted to make sure we did address, because you're right, invest in the house, but a lot of people say, just give me a price, how much is it? So, you know, stair lifts range from $3,000 to $6,000. If you're going to do a curve, you know, you're up around $11,000 to $12,000. If you want to do a vertical platform lift that goes straight up, you're around $11,000 to $12,000. Bathrooms, I think 12,000 is like a magic number, but 12,000. And when we were talking about financing, yeah, we use that CARE credit. So CARECREDIT. So carecredit.com. And we'll finance through there as well. But, you know, you really, before proceeding with anything, ask your church if there's a fund to help you out. You know, there's GoFundMe and crowdfunding, right? There's a website through the University of Colorado, Denver that has a spot that you can enter in Weld County or Larimer County and the specific condition you have, and it might have grants available. As long as they're in the VA healthcare system, everything starts with that primary care physician. So call your PCP, reach out, let them know what you're struggling with, and they start the process rolling. So, you know, by no means do either one of us want to dangle a carrot and say it's cheap and it's so easy, but it's vital and it is an investment in the house. And, you know, as much as we can, try to get everybody, you know, the resources that they need.
Lyndsey, if I were on the call today and I were listening to this, what's the easiest way to have somebody come in and do a full evaluation of my home to take a look at what my needs might be?
Yeah, just give us a call. That on that last slide, it's 970-475-1880, and just explain. And some people will say, I have the beginnings of MS. and I want to know what's ahead of me, and I want to kind of have a plan in place of what I'm going to do.
Mhm.
We'll be in, Michelle's situation. I just moved my mother in, right? Or I'm exploring moving my mother in. What can I do? And then there's the insurance is kicking me out of rehab. It's Tuesday and I'm going home Thursday. And so we scramble and see how quickly, and that's a free evaluation that we're happy to come out and head to toe, front door to the back door.
Do you work with Pride Manufacturing at all?
With Pride, is that what you said?
Pride Manufacturing for the lift chairs and those.
We carry Golden brand.
Golden, okay.
Yeah.
The reason I asked is they were a big manufacturer from back in Pennsylvania when I lived there, and they were my hometown. And I just remember because when my mom lived there, we bought a Pride Manufacturing chair for her in a lift chair, and she loves it.
Very cool.
So I got to tell you, I think your presentation was spectacular. I think people, if they were listening in, and people who will watch this through the website, will learn so much, as I did, about how to stay in your home, the technological advancements that have been made to make life so much easier for people who have challenges. And so I just want to thank you, Lyndsey. You were absolutely spectacular. Michelle, you've been in the business so long, and it just, it's obvious when you listen to both of you that you have the experience and the knowledge to really be helpful. And I'm sure you'll get calls related to this presentation. So I just want to say thank you again, and I look forward to your next presentation.
Thanks for the opportunity.
If I could circle back just real quick,
Sure.
I have one more point, especially on funding. Frontier Access, as well as Accessible Systems, they work with customers of all age groups. And one of the largest funding sources out there is DVR, Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. Okay, if you are working, just like that client that gets diagnosed with MS, but they're still working, you're going to have more services working. DVR is a great resource for home access and auto access, okay? But once you decide, I can't, like a teacher, for example, I worked with, she came to me and she's like, I'm going to lose my job if I can't go up and down the hallways. And her funding source wasn't going to fund that scooter for her because she could walk within her home, but her real need was to be able to keep her job. So I said, we need to get a hold of vocational rehabilitation and get you going in that process. And the one thing is, this is when we're using third-party funders, funding resource, it is a process. But she was able to get through the process, get through DVR, and they purchased her a scooter, plus put a lift in her vehicle so she could transport the scooter to work, use her scooter all day at work, and then get home at night. And so she was able to keep her job. So that's really, people, I think, forget about Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. It is a federally funded program, and it's the #1 funder across the United States for people that are working, trying to get a job, or trying to pursue an education with a disability. So that's a great resource. So just, yeah.
Well, I think that was fantastic and a great way to close this. And again, I thank both of you for such a fine presentation, and we wish you well.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.